but one low risk, potentially high reward play that really will be taking advantage of AI in the future is: are you ready to join the AI revolution and see your investments soar? In this video, we'll be exploring the exciting world of investing in AI, from cutting edge startups to established tech giants. We'll take a look at the companies driving the future of AI and how you can get in on the action. So join us as we dive into the world of AI investing and discover the incredible potential it holds for your portfolio. Let's get started. Alright, so if you're Sherlock Holmes, you probably realized that I was reading that from a script, and that script was written by ChatGPT, the new AI software slash platform that everyone's been going crazy over for the last few weeks. So when I saw this kind of taking off, obviously I was like, okay, this is really interesting. This kind of opens your eyes to opened a lot of people's eyes to the potential and the usefulness of AI for individuals, but also for businesses. So when I see a piece of revolutionary technology, and AI is probably the most revolutionary technology of the last 10 or 20 years. Like, I think AI is bigger than crypto. It's probably on the order of magnitude as big as the internet, like a change in human society. It's going to be massive, and ChatGPT was one example. If you haven't seen ChatGPT, it's just an insane AI software where you can just input any question and you can ask it to write a poem, you can ask it to tell you how big the sun is. I don't know. It's just a really advanced AI software that it's one of the first AI softwares that has been opened to the public for use. But when I see a bit of revolutionary technology like that, I always want to think, how can I invest in this? How can I profit from it? And while most people are like, how can I use ChatGPT to make me money, how to create a business like a chat bot, or write me articles so I can put in affiliate links to those articles and make money that way. Like, a lot of people are going to use that like digging for gold, but we can just sell them the shovels by investing in ChatGPT or something similar. So let's have a look at a couple of charts about AI and how big the opportunity potentially is. Now, this first chart is from ARK Invest, and I know they're not the most highly regarded at the moment. Their portfolios or their ETFs down like well over 80% or something. Down bad, needless to say, they're down bad. But regardless of that, they believe the enterprise value for AI related companies, AI applications, and software as a service, AI stocks and hardware, they believe that's going to be like in total like 5 times bigger than the enterprise value of the internet. So yeah, they think it's going to be big. Again, this is from ARK Invest, so maybe we can take it with a grain of salt. But this other chart from ARK Invest, this is just factual. This isn't an estimate so much. This is just showing that the cost to train an AI model like ChatGPT is declining at twice the rate of Moore's law. So you can see the purple is the ARK forecast and the black is Moore's law. And as you can probably tell, the costs are declining. And once you realize that that's actually a log chart, you realize that the cost to train one of these ChatGPT is falling so fucking fast. So it used to be the first iteration to create a GTP3 sized model was 875 million. That's how much it cost to create the first one. Now it's only this was in 2021 as well. Now that was 4.6 million. So what's that, like a 200x difference? And they ARK Invest estimates that it'll drop all the way down to $500 to train up a model of that kind of scale. What does that actually mean to train up the ChatGPT? So what does it actually mean by training the GPT-3 model? So ChatGPT is already a finished product. Like, some people think that when you type into ChatGPT, it's scouring the internet for an answer and giving you the answer. But in fact, it's kind of recalling from its own memory. So it's already got all the information stored, and that's how it's finding the information. It's from memory, so it's not taking any new info into consideration. So basically it's a finished product. And the other thing that you should be aware of is that it's often wrong. So like, when you ask it a question, most people take it for gospel, because when it spits out an answer, it's very sure of itself a lot of the time. It's not like a human where it's like, I'm not really sure, but I think this is the answer. It's just kind of presents the answer that it thinks best, and it says it very convincingly. And although ChatGPT is really powerful and opened the eyes of a lot of people to the benefits and the usefulness of AI, it's not even the most powerful AI system out there. So let's talk about how you can actually invest in AI and potentially make a lot of money in the future, because we know AI is going to be enormous. It's an enormous impact on human civilization. So we'll first off with the lower risk, more obvious ways to invest in AI, and then we'll go into the more speculative, potentially higher risk and higher returns kind of stocks and companies that people don't really know about as much. So the first way you can invest in AI is in companies that use AI. So this would include all of big tech like Amazon, Facebook, Meta, Google. So Tesla's obviously using AI for their self-driving cars, but Google actually and Microsoft actually have proper like GPT-3 similar AI models that are used for different things. So Google has a software called Palm, and Palm it's not so much like ChatGPT, it's more of a predictor of, risk and, for example, like credit risk, fraud detection, marketing campaigns. It's kind of a predictive algorithm, but it's a really powerful AI, and you can see from this chart it's way more powerful than ChatGPT, and Google owns that, and it's not a widely available for the public. Now, if you're investing in Google, obviously, if Palm goes up 10x in revenue, that's a subsidiary of Google, so it's not really going to make a huge impact on Google's. It's not going to increase Google's revenue by 10x, so it's not going to move the needle enormously in your portfolio, but it definitely shows that Google won't be replaced by ChatGPT. They're well aware of ChatGPT as a search engine possibility, and they have their own AIs that are pretty fucking strong as well. And considering Google's down 40% this year, even more, and it's probably a good investment regardless of their AI, realistically. Now you might be wondering, can you invest in ChatGPT, which is owned by OpenAI? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. But we'll talk about some other potential options that are, small companies. And obviously the rest of the big tech companies are using AI and will benefit enormously from AI in their businesses over the next few years, but I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the big tech companies. That's not really the type of companies that I like to invest in. There's not enough potential upside in big tech for me personally. But one low risk, potentially high reward play that really will be taking advantage of AI in the future is not the people so much using AI, but like I mentioned earlier, instead of people digging for the gold, it's the people selling the shovels that will benefit greatly from a huge increase. Like big tech are going to be using a lot of AI software in the future. And what does AI software need? AI software needs enormously powerful computers and supercomputers and graphics cards and data centers, etc., etc. So who's supplying the shovels in that case? It's NVIDIA. Here's another chart from ARK Invest. Again, we can take that with a grain of salt if you like, but yeah, we can imagine that the spend on hardware for AI is going to balloon over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And NVIDIA is going to be NVIDIA is by far the leader in hardware for AI. They're down significantly from all-time highs as well, and they're going to benefit significantly from this AI revolution. Okay, so now on to the slightly smaller, potentially more risky, but potentially higher return opportunities. I do think NVIDIA is probably one of the better choices out of the big tech companies, apart from Tesla, but Tesla is a good investment for other reasons, in my opinion, not financial advice, obviously, but NVIDIA would probably be the one that I'm most interested from an AI standpoint in regards to big tech. But if we're looking for something with a little bit lower market cap and potentially higher return potential. Now you might be thinking, I'll just invest in ChatGPT. Who owns ChatGPT? Unfortunately, you can't directly invest in ChatGPT. It's owned by OpenAI, and that's not a public company, but nevertheless, there's other companies who are just solely AI based, and the first I'll talk about is UiPath. Now, UiPath has become the number 4 position in ARK Invest's fund, and it's spread out through all their different funds as well. And as you can see from their chart, extremely bullish. That's sarcasm, but down 80% from its all-time high, and it's pretty much been down only. So what does UiPath actually do? In their own words, they're robotic process automation. So basically they help you, or they create AI softwares that are able to do monotonous, simple tasks and making humans' lives easier. So like anything like data entry, like sending particular emails. If you get an email, you have to read the email and send a simple email back, and chatbots, etc., etc. And UiPath is an interesting one because it's been losing money, but next year they're projected to make a profit. Now these projections could be wrong, but whenever a company goes from unprofitable to profitable, oftentimes their stock price performs very well. But again, the expectations could be wrong. Like next year, potentially there's a recession, potentially the economy is not going to be doing too well, and companies aren't going to be earning too much money. So they're down 80%. So they have a forward PE 75, but looking at PE ratios of companies that have really small earnings and really volatile earnings, I don't really like to look at so much, but their price to sales ratio is 6, so not super high. So they have $1.7 billion on their balance sheet, basically no debt, and their burn rate, so they're losing money at a clip of about 100 million per year. So even if they kept losing money at that rate for the next 10 years, they would still not go bankrupt. So the risk of bankruptcy isn't super high. So this is a pretty interesting company to me. I'd probably have to do a little bit more research into this particular company. Let me know if you'd like to see that. The next company that you could take advantage of that will be taking advantage of the AI revolution and is a bit smaller market cap, but a really well-known company is Palantir. And I don't really want to go into what exactly Palantir does and the opportunity with Palantir, because it's one of the most hyped up, most well-covered stocks on YouTube. So if you want to see that, if you want to learn more about Palantir, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but that's definitely a company that you could research if you want to take advantage of this. Okay, so the last company we'll touch on is called C3.ai, and this is probably the most speculative company that I've talked about, and it's another predictive AI. So you can ask it like, what's the credit risk? You could detect fraud within your company. You could work out when a machine is likely to break. So it's a predictive AI model, and it's extremely useful to businesses. And the founder already had it's already a successful founder who sold a company to Oracle, I believe, for billions. So he started a new company, and they are investing heavily in sales and marketing and growth. So they're losing quite a bit of money, but they still have about 10 years of cash burn if they lost money at the same clip. So their balance sheet is strong. They have $850 million on their balance sheet, so a good few years of run rate ahead of them if needs be. And the CEO has said before that if they wanted to become profitable, they could turn on profitability just like that. So they're just really investing in growth. Again, this is another company, and their stock price is down well over 90% from all-time highs. So it's getting to attractive valuations, and it was obviously extremely hyped up in 2020. So I'll be keeping an eye on this stock, but it's by far the riskiest, and their revenue growth year over year was only 7%. So I would need to see a bit higher growth next year or in the subsequent years to make this an attractive investment for me. Now, obviously, those last couple of companies are much higher risk, and investing in companies during a recession that are losing money with such small market caps, it's a risky business, and you're going to need some big balls if you wanted to do that. Obviously, not financial advice, but yeah, there's huge opportunity in the AI sector, and yeah, it's definitely worth researching more yourself, in my opinion, and probably worth having some sort of exposure to AI and trying to decide potentially one of these companies that I mentioned in today's video. But there's a lot of companies that will be benefiting enormously from this AI revolution. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some value out of it, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Cheers.